Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry for being so late again. I know I keep on saying the same thing, but I'm really so busy with my studies that I barely get time to do YouTube work, and I'm genuinely sorry. But I'm back today with another interesting video, and this story that I am going to talk about today, it's a lot. It's strange, it's mysterious, and when I was reading about this story, I found it really intriguing. So I thought, why shouldn't I make a video on this? So the last time I did an unsolved mystery video, it really got a lot of attention and people loved it. So I thought, why shouldn't I make another unsolved mystery video? Yes, today's video is an unsolved mystery video. But before we start this video, for those of y'all who don't know what this series is about, I'm actually doing a series on my channel where I talk about some historical teas, like I talk about the lost world. I am going to talk about some unsolved mysteries from now on, urban legends, or any event of the past that's interesting and intriguing, and also like a lot of mysteries and stuff. So if you're into these kind of things, then this is the place for you. Please consider subscribing so that you don't miss any videos from me. And if you want to follow me on my social media, the link will be in the description box. And for those of y'all who have been with me since the beginning, I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all the support and all the love. It really keeps me going. Thank you so much. Now, without further delay, we're gonna start the video. I'm definitely out of practice. I don't know how to talk in a video. Now, if you are a regular viewer on my channel, you would know that I write everything down on my notepad. So please don't mind if I read from my notepad because I can't remember things. And also, as usual, I have divided the video in sections so that it is easier for you to understand. And another thing, in this video today, I also brought you a bonus story. You will understand why. Now, the story that we're going to talk about today is about the disappearance of people. Now, we have heard a lot of stories about people disappearing and then never being found. But this story is different because the number of people that disappeared wasn't 3 or 30, it was 3,000 people. 3,000 people disappeared like that, all of them together. The background in which this incident happened, we are talking about 1939, December 1939, the second Sino-Japanese war, that is a war between China and Japan. And Japan was on the winning side. They were winning, and up until 1939, they actually conquered a lot of Chinese territories. Colonel Li Fu-shen, he was given the responsibility for making the last fight, to make the last stand and last attempt. He was stationed at the Yangtze River. There was a bridge over this river, and the Japanese soldiers, they had to cross this river, and then they would continue their siege in China. This bridge over the Yangtze River, that was the only way to cross the river. So if China kept an eye on the bridge and stopped the Japanese soldiers near the bridge itself, then they could stand a chance to stop the siege. Now, Colonel Lee's troops, almost 3,000, they were stationed among the Nanjing Hills, which was a 3.2 kilometer area from where they could look over to the bridge on the Yangtze River, and like if they saw the Japanese soldiers approaching, they could fight and stop them. Everything was fine. The troops were stationed, they were going to do their job, and everything was fine. But the next morning, when Colonel Lee woke up, he got the news that the soldiers that were stationed among the Nanjing hills to look over the bridge, they were not responding to any calls or any signals. So an investigating team was sent to see what was the matter. When they got there, they were so stunned to see the entire area was empty and abandoned. The most interesting thing about this is there was no sign of any fighting, no sign of struggle. The weapons that the troops were supposed to use, the weapons were still there in their position. Only the entire troop, they vanished just like that. The other troops that were near the bridge, they said that they have not heard of anything, or they were unsure as to what happened to these 3,000 troops, because they didn't see anyone fleeing or they didn't heard anything in the middle of the night. So nobody knows what happened to these 3,000 soldiers. It's still an unsolved mystery. But like any other unsolved mysteries, people came up with a lot of theories and came up with a probable explanation that could happen. The first thing that comes to people's mind is they were probably captured by the Japanese soldiers. But this theory is questionable because the Chinese, they were already keeping an eye on the bridge, because the bridge was the only way to cross the river. If they saw the Japanese soldier approaching, they could have attacked or fought, but they didn't see anything, the other troops that were stationed there. And also the fact that there was no sign of struggle, and even the weapons were there unused. So if there was some kind of a struggle, the weapons wouldn't be there unused. Also the fact that after the war was over, the Japanese never said anything about capturing these 3,000 soldiers in the Japanese military reports. The next possible explanation that was suggested by people is that the troops, the soldiers, they deserted the area. They probably didn't want to fight a brutal war, so they just fled. But there's a flaw in this theory, because if the soldiers wanted to flee, they wouldn't have got any cover, because according to reports, there was no vegetation near the area. Also, think about the fact that if 3,000 people decided to flee together, they would probably have come up with the story sometime later, I mean way later, but nobody ever came up. These soldiers were never found later. The next theory is a bit crazy, but I mean the story itself is so crazy, you never know. So the next theory says that there was probably an alien abduction. But there's also flaws in this theory. First of all, if it would have been an alien abduction, then the soldiers, the other soldiers who were stationed near the area, they would have saw something on the sky. And if the aliens, they really thought of abducting 3,000 men, then the UFO should have been really big, massive. But the other soldiers, they didn't see anything. In fact, they didn't see anything strange. That's what makes this story so strange and interesting. Now the next theory is what is extremely intriguing, and I was the most interested in this theory. And considering all the facts about what happened, this is probably the most plausible theory, no matter how crazy it sounds. Okay, so this next theory says that these 3,000 soldiers were probably lost in a parallel dimension. Now, I know this is crazy, unbelievable, but think about this. How can 3,000 people together, I mean 3,000 people, that's a lot. people, all of them disappear just like that. We have had a lot of stories, people coming up with stories saying that they have seen a parallel universe, they have been lost, they have visited a parallel universe, and a lot of disappearance stories where this theory has been used, that people get lost in parallel universes, that's why they disappear. And that is why these 3,000 soldiers, they disappeared because they were lost in some parallel dimension. Now, I thought it would be interesting to look into other stories where we get this parallel dimension kind of thing. So the bonus story that I was going to talk about, it is that. But before that, we're going to talk about the last theory that people said. The last theory that people say is it is an urban legend. That is, the incident never happened. The reason why people doubt this is, first of all, there is no official document that records this incident. And secondly, if you search about this story, you will see there is a disparity in dates. In some sources, it is said that the incident happened in 1939, and in other sources, they say that the incident happened in 1937. So there is a disparity in dates. If it was an actual event, why would there be a disparity in dates? I'm not saying what happened or what didn't happen or what I believe and what I don't believe. All I'm trying to say is this world is crazy. You never know what's true, and what you want to believe is up to you. I am going to tell you a story related to parallel dimension, but in this story, the one that I'm going to tell you now, in this story, people were not lost in parallel dimension, but there were beings who came from another dimension. Now this story is, it's a very popular story, and if you look up to the Green Children of Woolpit, you will get a lot of videos, a lot of writings on the story. So in the 12th century, two mysterious children, they ended up in Woolpit, a small village in England. Now, what was strange about these children was these two children were green in color. Yes, their skin was green. Also, they spoke a very different language. They didn't speak English. They were not used to seeing sunlight, and they refused to eat anything other than green beans. There was a girl and a boy. Now the boy, unfortunately, he passed away. But the girl, she started changing. She started eating other things other than raw beans. She also learned the English language. She started communicating with the people, and she adopted the lifestyle of the people of the village. Now when she learned English, she described to the people that she came from a place which was called the St. Martin's Land, and that the place was always in darkness. There was no sunlight. That's why they are not used to sunlight. And also everybody that lived in the place, they were all green in color. Their skin was green. There are several explanations regarding this story. You can look it up. I'm not going into the details. But since, you can understand, because of all these things that the girl said, that they came from a land where there was no sunlight, they were all green in color, they spoke a different language, that's why it is assumed that these two children, they came from a different dimension and they never made it back. Kind of creepy story. I mean, imagine one day you wake up and you realize that something is strange, and slowly you come to know that you are in some other dimension and you're stuck there, you can never make it back. That's quite creepy. So that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I found it really interesting when I was reading about this incident, and I thought I would share it with you all. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked it. And if you liked it, please consider subscribing and like, share and comment anything you want. If you have any video suggestion, please feel free to say. I'm always looking for interesting stories, urban legends, anything that's interesting, history related, definitely. So yeah, there's that, and thank you so much If you have made this far, I love you guys so much. It really means a lot, and I'm gonna be back again with another video. Oh, and I forgot to say that I'm actually working on another series for this channel, and I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna post it soon, and I can't wait. I hope you all are gonna like it too. That's it for today. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much.